And then I'm gonna get this ready. Come on, let's not load it up.
Oh, we're live.
We're supposed to be live.
Call your daddy and leave a voicemail. wiseandnerdy.com/call dad.
I don't know how to make this mute. Give me a second.
I do. You press this button.
Okay.
Press this button right here.
I hit that button just fine.
Don't hit that button. Oh, that's the perfect button right there.
All right, let's see. Which bank is it? Are you just gonna sit and sulk, or are you gonna jump in? Let's swap those. Did you just try to swap it too?
Huh? What?
I was trying to swap it. God, you're gonna make me swear on our show. Thank you, Joe.
You're welcome.
And yes, you are the butt face.
That doesn't seem to be right.
Where's my download? So that's your answer, Joe. You were saying last week, you got to figure out how to get the on-air sound to show up better. Get
a 4K camera. That's all.
Well, not necessarily 4K, but yeah, something that, I mean, in your church circles, friend groups, whatever, you might find somebody with an older DSLR that you can tie into the computer, that kind of thing.
I knew what I needed to do. It's just not cheap.
No, it's not.
Just try harder.
All right. We ready to go? I want to play the intro.
Oh.
Kurt, call number between 1 and 2. 2.
3.
Get ready to laugh out loud with Wise and Nerdy, the show hosted by two hilarious dads who bring their unique blend of wit, wisdom, and nerdiness to the...
Laugh Out Loud with Wise and Nerdy, the show hosted by two hilarious dads who are bringing a unique blend of wit, wisdom, and nerdiness to the airwaves. From sharing hilarious anecdotes about their own experiences to giving advice on navigating the ups and downs of life, these two dads have got you covered. But that's not all. They're also obsessed with all things nerdy, from comic books and sci-fi movies to video and board games. So whether you're a fellow dad, a pop culture fanatic, or just in need of a good laugh, tune in to Wise and Nerdy and join in the fun.
Such fun. I am the Rock Out of Podcasting, Charles McFall. Hashtag such fun, Wise and Nerdy. We are all over the place tonight. Before we get into that, we got the wholesome daddy, Joseph _R.
Hola.
And great Pappy Kurt is up in the shotgun house seat.
Suck it, Woodard.
So I made a more or less an executive decision today. I was like, you know what? I feel restricted by, and I mean this, I feel restricted by being on just Twitch. Yeah, we are technically affiliates, but it's really not doing a whole lot for us. So, I mean, if I need to go and demonetize, I'll do that. But I was like, you know what? I'd rather get interactions with people. So I know we advertise we're on Twitch. So I was like, well, not going to be on Twitch. But then I went ahead and put us on YouTube. So we are, wave to all the YouTubies. We are on YouTube tonight as well.
Hi, YouTubers.
YouTube, they're watching.
YouTubies.
And then I got another wild hair, Joe. Guess what wild hair I got there?
Wild hair? Is it? Do you need a holy hand grenade to take care of it?
Nice reference. I did not expect that from you, but no.
That's not the hair he's referring to.
That is not. I was talking with Phil today, and we're talking about just different things and different ideas of how to grow different things.
Hair of the dog. I get it now.
Yeah, Phil is quite the dog, and he is quite sick right now still. He's got the case of the terminal toots going on. But I I realized I have a fairly large following on Instagram, and I just went ahead and checked on the PC, and sure enough, I can stream to Instagram. So we're streaming to That's Easy Advice to Give on Instagram. So
Nice.
we did it for the gram.
Okay.
There we go.
So yeah. So what do you need for Instagram to be able to stream?
I have no idea. I just
Sweet.
went to you have to have the computer. I just know you have to have the computer, not the app. I just went to the browser version. It won't do it through your phone app or whatever. But I just clicked on create because I wanted to do a post for tonight to promote that we're doing our show live, right? And I love how it tags them different when you put stuff up there. That's really cool. Hey, wait. Okay, you just changed how you went to the websites themselves and typed in.
Yes.
Right. Okay. I thought you did it through StreamYard. Like, how did you separate it? But you didn't. Got it. So Kurt, I just went to hit create on the web browser because I was sitting here and it gave me a choice. It said like create a post or go live. And so I clicked on go live, Googled it real quick on what I needed to do to tie a StreamYard in, which is super simple. And bingo, bango, bongo. Joe is now an Instagram influencer.
Yeah, I can't actually do it on Instagram yet, but once I grow a little bit bigger, we'll be able to also do that on TikTok.
Oh yeah, no, see TikTok, man, you got me beat out there, and I want to do that. So, oh look, I sort of geeked and joined on Instagram. You're just all about the numbers. I love it, man. Hustling them numbers, hustling them, baby. All right. So, question of the night. This is what I thought about a couple weeks ago that I thought would be interesting to talk about. And I believe, Kurt, you have something to say about that.
It's the question of the week.
Oh, now you have to take a shot and pray because they both puppeteered to that one. So, what, Joe and Pappy, great Pappy Kurt, what is the healthiest food you love? And what's the junkiest food you love?
Ooh,
that's a good one.
All right.
I know. I come up with questions for a living.
So the healthiest food, and some people are going to argue how healthy this really is, but when I was doing a keto diet, my wife made
Is that the martial arts, a keto diet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to eat something to chop me in the throat.
As she made it's a version of zuppa toscana, which is an Olive Garden soup. But she just substituted the potatoes in it with cauliflower. Super good, super tasty. It was great.
You know why? Because cauliflower doesn't taste like anything. It's like tofu. It just kind of absorbs the soup base in it. So I guess you're getting your starchy flavor or starchy consistency without the potato. I guess.
Yeah. Because I mean, it's chicken broth. It has the potato in it. It's got kale and a whole bunch of sausage and spices. And so, yeah, really good. Really, really good. And cheese, of course. You go to Olive Garden, you always get all the cheese.
Well, that kind of takes a little bit of the health factor down, wouldn't you say, Pappy?
It's keto.
Yeah, and look, there are no good foods and there are no bad foods. There's just food. And so
food doesn't kill people, bullets kill people.
I don't know. I've tasted some real bad food.
No, so there's bad tasting food, but that's not the food's fault.
Yeah, Charles.
So
wait.
So what? But Joe, what was your worst or your unhealthiest favorite food?
The junkiest food. Okay. I went out to eat at this place with my friends, and we all decided it would be a great idea to have their biggest burger there, which was a 1 pound burger. So we all got the 1 pound burger and milkshakes and a huge tub of fries. And they had at the place we went, you literally just said, "Hey, these are the toppings you have," and you choose the toppings. Like, they don't have pre-selected toppings like a lot of places do. You say, "These are the toppings I want out of your list of toppings." And it was fantastic. I was way full afterwards, but it was fantastic.
Yeah. So my healthy food is really boring, but I'm gonna say roasted broccoli and cauliflower.
Again with the
And
cauliflower. Interesting.
Yep, and you toss it in a very little bit of oil so that the seasoning sticks. You put a little seasoned salt on it, a little bit of Lowry's, not a whole lot.
Do the
Salt Bay? No, I don't. No, and I want to punch that guy in the throat. And then you roast it in the oven at 425 for about a half an hour. Mwah. It's awesome, and you can just go to town on it.
I've had a version of that, but they also sprinkled a little bit of buffalo sauce on it.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. Like, you can put hot sauce, you can put whatever you want on it. Really, not so much cheese, but
all the cheese.
Not so much cheese.
Right.
The phrasing is a lot. Yeah.
Right. But and then the junkiest. Look, from any pizzeria that starts with Your Town House of Pizza, and they're a large all meat pizza, like any day of the week.
So not a chain, something that's more or less local.
No, just like a all meat pizza that just weighs about 20 pounds, it feels like. and I could go to town on that like nobody's business.
Oh man, like a good I know what you mean, but now you made me think of a good Chicago deep dish pizza where it's just loads of bacon and sausage.
So you mean pizza cake?
So
yes, I absolutely mean pizza cake.
See, and what he made me think of is there's this little place in the suburbs of Philadelphia where you can order. It's called you can get it's called Inside Out. That's the name of the shop, and that's the name of their signature thing, where it's basically just it's fried pizza. Basically, they stuff the pizza in there, they fry it. Well, you can get it baked, but nobody gets it baked. It's always better fried.
I mean, I'm sure it's got an interesting taste. It was like,
it's like a calzone kind
can
of.
we consume?
I was just gonna say, how is that not a calzone?
It's very similar to a calzone. They just call it Inside Out
and not baked. Yeah, it's fried.
So good.
Calzone is the biggest scam in the pizza industry.
It's a half-folded pizza. But it keeps the I don't know. It feels like it keeps the moisture in a little bit better. It tastes a little bit more.
Well, sure, if you have crappy
chewier. Pizza. Have you met Domino's?
Domino's is not nearly as bad as it used to be.
Oh, okay. I haven't had it in forever.
Yeah.
Especially when Little Caesars throws their hats in.
Oh.
All right, no. Little
Are we
Caesars
doing a pizza show? I'm all over it.
But
listen, Linda.
Listen,
Linda,
I'm just saying there are some places that you got to eat just because you're hungry. And hey, Ella North 52 over on Instagram. We appreciate you jumping in. So we're not gonna get off on pizza too much, but my favorite healthiest food is mushrooms. Man, I will eat any kind of mushrooms. I want them added to everything. Really, you two both.
Gross, daddy.
I'm not a fan of mushrooms.
And that's why I'm Super Mario and both of you are little toads.
Have you seen the Mario movie? He didn't like mushrooms either. So deal with it.
But he learned it. I love them. I love them. I'll eat them in everything and any dish that has anything. I asked my wife just to add mushrooms to it. I love them. Now, Joe, I think you know what the junkiest food, if you want to call it food, is that I love.
Slushy.
Yes. No. It's a Slurpee. It is 7-Eleven branded Slurpee.
I got you to say yes initially.
Oh my God. You're the worst. I am sorry, future sponsor 7-Eleven. I will fire Joe just to get you to sponsor the show and let me have a lifetime of free Slurpees. But yes, it is a Slurpee. Now, if you want to nitpick that and say Slurpee is a drink and not a food, then it's 1,000% like deep dish Chicago pizza cake, man. I don't care how much you hate on it. I will eat that cheese pie full of meat and mushrooms floating around in it. So good.
Oh yeah, it was a fun time when we went to Go Fest and we had a whole bunch of people with us and went to that deep dish joint. It was good. Good stuff.
Yeah.
I'll eat it. I just don't recognize it as pizza. But
You're a pizza snob.
A little bit.
It's pizza lasagna.
Yeah. Yep. And everybody knows that icy is the superior drink.
Lasagna is also pizza. I'm sorry you grew up with the poorest, Kurt, and apparently you still are with them, because ices are just ice chips with a tiny bit of food flavoring in them, which I will not hate on. I will still drink that. But Slurpee, by far, cannot be replicated anywhere.
I don't know. Sonic throws
you do know, because I bought you plenty of Slurpees. You know, Joe.
So Sonic has a blue raspberry slush, and you can add nerds to it. Pretty dang good.
I'm not saying other things are bad. I'm saying the superior junk food is the Slurpee, 1,000%. So
okay,
that's what I gotta say. You know what? It's not just me who has stuff to say. Kurt, what? How happy are we when somebody calls in and talks to their daddies here on the show?
We love our speak pipers so much because they just don't stop calling.
Way to go, Poppy. You got it there. So yes, call your daddies. We will tell you how proud we are of you and how much we love you. And we've got 2 speak pipes tonight. I don't remember which order they're in. So here comes the first one.
So talking about how we behave and talk in one environment versus another with different groups of people. Every Wednesday morning, we have a meeting for our infrastructure. And that morning, a couple of weeks ago, I happened to be at another department working on a wireless issue. I'm in a room, about 4 or 5 people, and I join on my phone, and the audio starts playing through my phone. I have a moment of panic, turn on my headset, and I scramble to turn it on because my department, when we're on those meetings and the people in it, it's not that our department, the people are explicit as much as they are very implicit. But regardless, other people in departments and being a municipality, some people tend to be more sensitive than others, and you always have to be very concerned about that. So, in particular, my boss, he can be he can also be very explicit too. And so it was very unnerving, but it really brought him a realization that how we take for granted that, in one environment, our safe space, people behave versus another. So, yeah, it's definitely.
Get to the point, Daddy.
No. He's talking about knowing your audience, right? And that's something Joe and I talked about a few weeks ago right after Dragon Con. And old Pappy Kurt couldn't make it through. He fell asleep. I
thought we were doing a speak pipe. Somebody start playing the speak pipes.
All right. I think this is also from the Devo.
Joe, your comment of HR compels you made me laugh, reminding me of my youth and Baptist revivals, Pentecostal Assemblies of God. And that was great. Maybe Charles does need that for you a little bit. I'm sure he probably grew up with a lot of it. Being a PK. So anyway, the other thing is I work in a municipality and we have programs. And a program was released early this year and our directors were presented it. And when they handed it out, they looked on the front and the title of the program was Sexual Harassment Made Easy. Of course, everyone caught on to that pretty quick. I'm not sure how it got past HR's, whoever was editing. Immediately, those were all collected and destroyed, except maybe 1 or 2 that
Oh, my goodness.
Some
Preserved
people hung
for
on to.
record.
Anyway, it brings a lot of amusement to us in
Oh,
our
no.
department, and it is always a quick one to bring out is sexual harassment made easy. Yeah, it's been renamed obviously since then, but it always makes us laugh.
That's hilarious. I gotta imagine that was for a sexual harassment, like something like to make sure that you don't harass people. But yeah, that's funny. Devo, as your daddies, we're proud of you for keeping a couple of extras. Or no, your friend keeping a couple extra of those sexual harassment made easy pamphlets that may or may not make its way to the internet at some point. So Joe, Kurt, you noticing something here? We've got Mr. Tambourine over on the Twitch watching live. We've got Iron Will over on YouTube watching live. And we got a bunch of different people that I can't show here because it doesn't tie in directly watching live over on Instagram. So we got a little bit of highs here and there. Not that kind of high, just hellos, I guess I should say. High made easy, featuring wholesome daddy Joseph Hart. Or the eater of dreams, Kurt. All right, I think it is time to roll that dice.
Roll that dice.
Shut up, Woodard.
Number 6.
Oh.
That sounded good.
All right, so let's go hit the button for everybody.
Joke.
All right, this comes to us straight from your little one of your little demons.
Oh, this is still off of the sheet that Ryland made for you.
Yep. It says, "What does a mermaid use to wash its tail?"
Can I just quit the show? Can I just leave? This is Kurt looks you Poppy Kurt, you look like you're pondering this.
I am.
It uses Tide.
Oh.
Even Kurt's with me on that one. That was rough.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
I don't. Yeah, groan, Mr. Tambourine, groan.
I live on your groans.
I don't understand why people like these things.
It's because of the groan. The more the bigger the groan,
yes,
the more appreciative you could do. We ought to do an anti-joke night.
Would that be having Alon, the Dungeon Master, come on just for 5 minutes talking about knock who's there banana? Banana who? Knock who's there banana.
Here's the hotline you can call if you've been hurt by a dad joke.
What is an anti-joke, Kurt?
A horse walks into a bar, and then everybody left because they understood how dangerous that was.
Please roll some dice. I regret asking. I straight regret asking. Look, if you join our Patreon, patreon.com/wise_and_nerdy, you can catch the behind the scenes where I berate these guys for the horribleness of their jokes on the show. It's not nice.
Whatever you say, you love it. We got
last
4.
week, hey, real quick. Okay, 4. Last week in the post show, Kurt shared a lot of weight loss tips and tricks. So,
Can you dig it?
I can dig it. I don't know why we paid Kurt all this money to not only record these things but be on the show, and you're gonna play your kids, which we got for free. So
Love.
all right.
What do you
So
love?
I brought this Can You Dig It to the table. Road trips. I mean, actually getting in the car, and it can be with family. We can qualify it. Family road trips, bro road trips, whatever. Because there's definitely different levels of road trip, but you got to go. What? Okay, first off, let's throw it out there. What do you define? What distance, what time frame that you have to drive for it to constitute a road trip?
4 hours.
Minimum.
All right, I was
Yeah.
thinking 4 to 6. Yeah.
Yeah, 4 hours minimum. Yep.
All right. So, do you like road trips? Do you hate them? We're somewhere in the middle. Where we land here?
Oh, that's where we're going. You got to be in the right frame of mind. If it's a road
Okay.
trip you have to do, they're kind of terrible. But if it's something that you want to do, they can be very fun.
Joe.
I saw
Joe
Charles
always
reacting.
Joe always tries to do that. Once upon a time, this is from Joe, by the way. Once upon a time, I took a 3,000-mile road trip with a bobcat in our suburban. No, that's called moving.
No,
That's
no,
technically a road trip, isn't it? I don't know.
that wasn't
I don't
us
think
moving
that's the
though.
same.
That wasn't us moving. So we were living in Washington State at the time.
You just take your cat and get on the road.
Yeah.
All right, tell your story.
Yeah, so we were living in Washington State at the time. My dad decided he wanted to go visit his family in Pennsylvania. And so we all packed up, brought the Bobcat with us, and we drove 3,000 miles over the course of, I think, only 3 days. And
there had to be laws broken there somewhere. Transporting a
Well,
bobcat.
Yeah,
well, it was our pet. It was our pet Bobcat.
Uh-huh.
and
I don't even think that works in that state, but if it does, that only works in that state.
So in Washington, when we had our Bobcat, there were no laws against it. Shortly before we moved from Washington to Pennsylvania, they were actually working on I guess the city was making a city ordinance that you had to have a permit to own a Bobcat, because we weren't the only people in the city with a Bobcat as a pet. There were actually at least 3 other families that I knew of that had Bobcats as pets and my soccer team, I was like 6 years old. My soccer team actually changed their name from Golden Eagles to Bobcats because 2 of us on the team had pet Bobcats. The other kid
that's not a reason to change the team and put the money into the logo and everything.
That's okay. They changed it back when the Bobcats actually attacked the team. And 3 of the kids got put in the hospital.
So the other kid's family actually brought their Bobcat to the sidelines, and that same kid, because we went to elementary school together, he had his Bobcat brought in for show and tell once, and then the school said, "Yeah, so show and tell, you can't do animals anymore."
Did it hurt anybody?
It did not.
Did it spray anywhere?
Not that I know of. I didn't hear of any incident. They were just like, yeah, no, this is not happening again. And they were like, no more animals for show and tell. Oh yeah. No, I get it.
God.
But all
a question about Bobcats at school, Joseph.
It's
about road trips.
All my cousins loved having our Bobcat there. And it was a lot of fun, but it was definitely tiring. We basically drove straight through, switching out drivers, and so I slept in some weird positions on the floor of that Suburban.
I'll bet
with feet on top of me, and yeah. So we were definitely very, very, very tired by the time we got there. But
and y'all stayed a day and turned around and went home. So yeah,
we stayed for 10 days and then came home. Yeah.
All right. Well, 10 days actually makes it a little worth it, but man, driving through is crazy.
Well, so
my joke is not worth
it. That's a whole lot of money for a family of 8 to spend to go. So
yeah, fair enough.
But yeah.
I mean, you didn't have to bring every kid. You could have left some behind, and the Bobcat.
Yeah, well, so I don't think my older brother came with us during that trip. So I guess it was only the 7 of us and the Bobcat.
Oh my God, Kurt, Pappy, help us here. Do you dig some road trips?
I dig some road trips if they A, have a purpose, and B, you're not rushed. So like the road trip to Dragon Con, for example.
Yeah.
It's okay, except I was rushed the entire time because I had to drive from New Hampshire to Pennsylvania first.
Part of that was you drove like 20 hours from New Hampshire to Philadelphia, and then turned around and drove 20 hours from Philadelphia to Atlanta.
Yeah, it wasn't quite that, but yeah, it was crazy. Like
and going back home, you did the same thing because you had to be back at work.
Yeah, so yeah, it was worse.
Man.
It was worse because we drove from Atlanta to Pennsylvania, which was about a 12-hour drive. And then literally I got in my car as soon as we stopped and drove to New Hampshire, which was a 7 or 8 hour drive on top of that. So that was terrible. That was terrible, which is why I flew this time.
What about fun stuff though? What's your
fun stuff? So I did. So I've gone a couple of times with some buddies, and we would drive from New Hampshire to Montreal, Canada, and and that's a 4.5 hour road trip. And we went up to watch the Montreal Expos before they left Canada. So we did like a baseball road trip. Drove up there, stayed in a hotel. I think we got 2 hotel rooms because we're adults, and and went and saw the baseball game. Fun fact: if you go there and at the border crossing they say, "Why are you coming to Canada?" and you say to see the Expos, they pull you over and have you come inside to discuss that. Because nobody went to see the Expos.
They frisk you and everything. You better have some rookie cards on you, son.
Yep.
Yeah,
and then one of our buddies was with us, and one of the questions they asked you inside was, "Have you ever been before a judge?" And we're going, "Nope, nope, nope." And this one guy said, "Yep." And we went, "If they're detaining you, we're leaving you. Like, just
That's
understand that we're taking
to.
off." Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's
but so it was fun. It was a really fun trip. But you got to be in that right frame of mind.
Yeah. Okay. Now I won't tap into this one real quick. Iron Will says, I once took a bro trip to North Carolina from Pennsylvania in 7 hours, but only traveled 3 miles. We made it to a Sheetz, which is a gas station in Pennsylvania, and fell asleep eating mozzarella sticks in the parking lot. It was a sign not to travel. That sounds like there was something else involved.
Yeah, exactly. Because, mozzarella sticks aren't actually made of tryptophan.
Do you know what that is, Joe?
Tryptophan?
Have you ever done tryptophan?
Tryptophan is a naturally occurring chemical in food.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think tryptophan is?
I know exactly what it is, but I didn't think you knew what it was. So
I take a high dose of tryptophan every Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I absolutely love a road trip only if it's done my way. And that's it. I mean, I hate it with the family and with my wife. Now, early on, before we had kids, I'm not kidding. I'm not
road
going to
trips with his family.
I do. I hate it because it's not a road trip. It's a chore. It's
and you hate road trips with me when I have too much Mountain Dew.
No, see, I love that. We've been doing some of that. So here's the thing. When my wife and I first got married, we tried to meet in the middle on a road trip. So we established some things to entertain ourselves. Like we'd buy a brand new, back in the day, we had CDs and we'd buy a new comedian.
You have
CD.
CDs?
Yes. you know on that one. And hello, Sightman 12345 on Instagram, and Gramrod92 is hooked up with us on Instagram.
Oh, Gramrod. Nice.
But my wife, here's the thing. My wife, I'm not Brian Ibbett. My wife wants to go take a 4-hour trip and turn it into 10. Right. Oh, well, if we go over here, we can see the Columbia Zoo. And then, we can go over. Right, Kurt? Right. I'm like, no. It's a 9-hour trip already when we stop and grab a quick bite to eat and pee and go. See,
that was my dad on the way back with the Bobcat, though. On our way, like getting there, he wanted to get there as fast as we could. Coming back, he was like, "Hey, it's only like an extra 3 hours to jump up to go see Mount Rushmore." So he shot it. It was all historical places that he wanted to go see.
Okay.
But you're still driving all the way through?
Yes. So basically, so on the way back from Pennsylvania to Washington, he was like, "Hey, let's detour here. Let's detour there." We detoured about 4 times and added probably 12 hours to our So it was more like 4 days on the way back instead of 3.
I will play a little bit. I'll play a little bit devil's advocate. Although you need to really plan that out and get some better rest. So at one point, my wife and I were talking about a couple of different trips to take, and one of them was going up to New York City. But we always think with the ages the kids are, right? It's always today. Today's the last day we can do this kind of thing because they get older tomorrow and so on and so forth. And eventually it kind of becomes this wrangling thing. So in that mindset, we were like, okay, if we're gonna go up, we're gonna stop in DC. And we talk about getting trained. We'll ride the train up, rent a car, stop in DC overnight, see the Smithsonian, those kind of things, hit Pennsylvania, do Hershey and all that jazz, and then maybe go up to New York City. I kind of get where your dad's coming from. This might be a once in a lifetime thing where you're all together as a family. But when you say the words, it's only 3 hours, I just backhand you and we keep on rolling. Yeah, nah, dog. My wife kills me though too. So on those trips just with me and her, now I'm that guy. Get in the car, let's go. Oh, you gotta pee? Let's stop and pee at a gas station, grab some snacks because that's our food, and let's rock. Well, she doesn't cater to that. She came out with a big gulp out of the first one, like, are you kidding me? And I was mad at her. We're driving and she drank it all. And within an hour, we're stopping again. And I'm waiting. I'm like, let's go get down the road because we're getting to this cool adventure we're going to. And she comes back out with another big gulp. I was like, I swear to God, you get another drink, I'm divorcing you. This is our first year of marriage. Now with the kids, of course, they need to stretch your legs. So we'll have to stop at a Wendy's or something and let them sit down and eat, walk around, play on the playground, which, yes, it does help. But I'm like, come on, let's rock and roll.
That's how my dad was too. He treated our gas stops as like pit stops in NASCAR. He was like, go, 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 go. And yeah.
Now, Joe, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. No. Go ahead. So that's the way I used to be. Is just like, okay, let's go. And now when I travel with my wife, because she's got some medical issues, and I just go, okay, whatever. I've just resigned myself to we're stopping whenever we're stopping. It doesn't bother me as much as it used to because I planned for that.
Yeah, if you make the road trip the trip.
Right.
That's the difference to me. So Joe, you and I went up to Chicago. We drove. I drove the hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever it is, to my house, your house. And then we drove together the 14 hours or so up to Chicago. 12 to 14.
Yeah, it was supposed to be 12, but then we hit traffic and it was like 15.
Oh yeah. But
Charles was like, Joe, you're driving and that estimate just keeps going up and up and up.
It did. I'm like, get out, I'm driving now. But yeah, it was traffic stuff. But we did it well. It's good about story time. You talk about topics that you don't think about, and we're just going and doing things. And then when we stopped specifically, I think at a Taco Bell to get dinner, and we got it to go. But instead of going through the drive-thru, we went inside. So you stretch your legs a little bit, spend the 5-10 minutes ordering the food and getting it, and then you get your butt back in the car and get back on the road because that's the thing. I don't know. That's me. So it sounds like we like road trips, but we all have our own specific ways of doing it. And I can see, Kurt. Yeah, I can definitely see that as part of my wife and I taking trips. Because for me, the adventure is where we're getting to. It's like an airplane ride. I'm not taking an airplane ride for the joy of it. I'm getting to somewhere where that's where the fun is.
Right.
But if she wants to let's hit these points. Okay, well, that's the trip. We'll go to this one area, explore for a day. I mean, that sounds like old people RV parking, but I'm down for that. That's fine by me.
Me too.
Yeah. And see, like, in order to avoid even more stops, and to save money, I remember my dad would take a whole loaf of bread, take it out of it, turn the entire thing into sandwiches and stuff it back into the loaf bag and just toss that to our cooler and be like, hey, who wants a sandwich? And just hand out sandwiches. And so
smart.
Yeah, it worked real well.
Now,
I mean, they got a little squished over time and a little soggy, but it worked.
I'll tell you, my mother-in-law told horror stories. I see your comment. I want to follow up with Iron Will too, but I see your comment about leaving super early. So it'd be my wife's grandfather, right? My mother-in-law's father. That was the thing. 3 a.m, let's go. He put a can in the back of the car and he would not stop. Once you got in the car, there's no stopping. You had to pee, get the can.
Get the can.
And she swears that's true. I never asked him directly, but that sounds a whole lot like abuse to me. And then Iron Will followed up on his sleeping trip. No THC, no tryptophan, just worked a 15-hour shift at night. Which tells me, like, what are you thinking? Well, Betty, I'm glad you survived. I'm glad you survived your youth. That's all I'm saying. And Miss Jimmy says, oh, yeah, the coffee can, been there, done that. I've pulled over on the side of the road. I remember being a kid, couldn't hold it, and my mom, had the door and blah blah. I could pee on the side of the road, whatever. But yeah, not in the can.
Yeah, we usually pulled off on the side of the road, but there was at least one time where my dad told my brother, "Look, we just stopped 10 minutes ago. You pee in that soda bottle, that empty soda bottle right there." So that's what he did.
Roll that dice.
Number 5.
Oh, all right. It is time for the commercial break. Now, this one we're gonna get right. This one I've got the music.
Says you.
Donate
I
to your
have
daddy.
got the music. You know what?
Patreon.com/wiseinnerdy.
Stupid
I
word
just did
coming in
that.
early.
Yeah. All right. So I've got the music. So this is how it's gonna roll, Kurt. Right? We'll hit the music.
Donate to your daddy.
Exactly. You're gonna do that. You're all right. Good rehearsal. Good rehearsal. Good on you. And then stop it. And then I'm gonna bring the music up. We're gonna rock out for a minute. We're gonna jam. We're gonna be on the road trip hitting our tunes, right?
Okay, rock out first and then do the read.
Have a
No.
nerdy day.
That's not even a legit thing. We never wrote that, Joe. All right. I'm gonna hit the music. You talk about getting some daddy donations going on over here. All right.
Do you like what these daddies are doing most of the time? Then go to patreon.com/wiseinnerdy. That's wise in the letter N, nerdy. and give us money, because if you do, I'll read you something. Now rock out to this cool tune. That's Patreon.com.
Everybody just meditate for a second. This is crappy music. There it goes. Breathe in through your nose.
Help me, Daddy.
All right, Kurt.
Donate to your daddy.
No, we've already
Again.
done that one.
Call your
No.
daddy. Leave a voicemail.
Yes, Woodard.
wiseinnerdy.com/call dad.
Thank you.
Woodard always stepping all over my sounds.
Oh my God.
I gotta tell you, nothing brings me more joy than Joe and I ruining this bit for you every week.
It's not. I'm not going to do a bit. I am trying to be professional. It's such a great groove. Is you just do this little overlay, and everybody's jamming to the music, and you guys just can't roll the dice.
Am I the butt face?
Yes, Joseph, you
Yep.
are.
Number 2.
You got it. You got it. You want me to do it? You got it.
I got it.
Personal story time.
Oh, man.
Oh Lord.
All right.
Oh,
So I don't know. I know. I don't know if I told people that I almost didn't come to DragonCon this past year. So I leave on Wednesday. DragonCon starts on Thursday, and the Tuesday before that, I tweaked my back. And I was like, "Oh shoot, dang!" And so
we need to make
Wednesday,
that one a button. Oh shoot, dang!
and so my wife, in her brilliance, told me Tuesday night. She was like, "Hey, you should call a chiropractor and have them see you tomorrow. Get in there." And so I had never gone to a chiropractor before. I was like, "That sounds like a great idea, probably." And that chiropractor saved DragonCon for me. So I went, and afterwards, I felt way worse than I had the day before, or that morning. But by that night, though, I was feeling way better. And normally when I tweak my back like that, it takes 4 or 5 days before I'm not having different times where I twist just right and it sends lightning bolts of pain going down my spine. But by that night, it was just a dull ache. It wasn't the lightning bolts of pain. And so, yeah, I have become a firm believer in going to the chiropractor when I tweak my back.
Nice.
So that chiropractor, they just let you come in, checked you out, essentially gave you an adjustment, right? Cracked your back, you got you feeling, and then sent you on your way. Didn't try to sell you a package or any kind of extra crap.
So he did say that he recommended me coming in for the next 6 weeks just to make sure the adjustment was done fully and that my back had time to adjust to it. But after that, he said it was at my discretion. So
you went 6 more weeks after Dragon Con?
5 more, but yeah.
See, to me, that's a scam. Now I get it. So my uncle did the massage therapy, and so the adjustments with the muscles there, I've been through it. I get it. I've had a chiropractor adjustment, but every time I go in, it's like, we need to sell you some x-rays and you need to buy this 20 visit package. Nah, man, I just need to get you this knot out of my back. That's what I need.
Yeah, so there was no
cracked,
package. Dude. There was no package or anything like that. He didn't try to tell me that I needed x-rays. All it was the visits. And those were on my discretion on how many I wanted to come to. And so what did they do in those follow-up visits? They just readjusted my back again and
drop the people's elbow. Bam.
So readjusted my back. So the very first visit, though, when he adjusted my back, he actually hooked my back up to electrodes and had me lay on this table that progressively went up and down my back.
For the podcast, he's making a motion with his fist and making that sound.
And which actually felt all right until it hit the spot where my back was tweaked that first time, and I was like,
holy dang shoot,
making me speak in tongues.
I bet you had to repent for that one, didn't you?
But yeah, so he hasn't hooked me up to electrodes since then. He has adjusted my neck a couple of times when I've asked him to since that first visit, and then he's adjusted my back every single time. But then he's always done something more. Like he's put me back on that table again, but with heat, whereas the first time it was with electricity and cold. And then this last time he used, like I told him that my back was sore from
all the chiropractic adjustments.
Right.
This past weekend, I spent like 3 hours bent over a toilet trying to fix the back again. It was a different toilet this time, Charles. But one of the bolts was stripped.
He's fancy. He's got like 5 toilets in his house.
4.
Yeah, but only 2 of them are in bathrooms.
One of them's outside with a flower pot in it. It looks great.
I'm a Mormon.
Ding, 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 ding.
Oh, you do it. Oh, I think you're right, Pappy. I think he's got the houses.
Sweet mother of Donny Osmond.
Oh man. But anyway, this last time he used like what was almost like obviously it wasn't, but it looked like a sander. And it going up and down my back. And
it's just a big massage. Everything you're talking about, he got from Sky Mall. In the magazine that's in airplanes, all of that, a sharper image, all of that is there. Now I'll give you got to know where to place your hands to crack the back. But I like what this maybe should have been the Can You Dig It, not the chiropractor rolls a 20-sided die. Every number has a different price. It says Will.
Ooh, critical miss.
I mean, I watched some of the real specialists on TikTok, the ones that can take the whole loop around the back of the neck and big cracks, and I see the physical relief. You see the muscles. That's a specialty. I just feel like I just feel like everything you described, other than the first time where you said you got an adjustment and it actually helped you, I could literally get off of Amazon and just do it at home.
Well, to be fair, this guy that Joe goes to, he might be fine. I have a healthy skepticism as well. But I've got some friends who go to a chiropractor pretty regularly, and it helps them. It helps them. That being said, I know too many shady chiropractors on TikTok who put themselves forth as weight loss and fitness experts as chiropractors. And that usually equates to selling you a supplement of some sort. It's the most bizarre thing where they just go, "Oh yeah, well, you have this inflammation because you're insulin resistant, and blah 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 blah." And what are your qualifications? Well, I'm a chiropractor. Okay.
This guy has never mentioned anything like that, but
Good.
I have seen on the television in the waiting room. They've mentioned a few different other little things, but he has never mentioned it. So, and none of his staff has mentioned it.
I mean, I am glad that you got what you needed so you could come to Dragon Con. But I don't know. I don't know, man.
Ask your chiropractor about Flabertia. Flabertia. if you're allergic to Flabertia, don't take Flabertia.
Go Birds! I get all my supplements on TikTok, VO by Kurt. So,
yeah, yep. I'm the king of supplements. That's right.
Joe got a real win. Sorry, Will.
Yeah. Well, he may have.
Quack. He got the crack. That's not even what I meant to do.
Oh man,
you know what to do.
My son,
Daddy.
My 8-year-old has decided he wants his nickname to be Butt Crackin'. Just random. You mentioned crack. It made me think of it.
Please tell me that you told him that was a bad idea.
Please tell him you got him a tattoo of it on his arm.
I told him that his uncle had that nickname first.
Oh, so he's not allowed to have it.
It's a family nickname now, apparently.
Right. Just say you have to kill your uncle before you can take that name.
There can only be one.
Right.
Oh, man.
My name is Kraken of the Butt Kraken McCrackens.
from the lowlands of Tennessee, it is Lowlander. There can be only 1.5 because he's just a kid.
I don't know. Some Florida man's going to win that craziest standoff. No.
A Florida man's going to kill his uncle to be the Butt Kraken. All right.
Yep. It's true. The Florida man would win.
Florida man.
Roll something.
All right. Number 1.
Who does number 1 work for?
Number 2. Number 1 works for number 2.
No, they don't. And you're supposed to hit
what
a button.
What are you nerding out about now?
Because
7, 8, 9. What are we talking about?
This is not Bad Dad Joke time. That is wrong pass.
Yes, but why did 7 eat 9?
Oh, I just no.
Because you're supposed to have 3 square meals a day.
Waka waka. Charles, your faux hawk is falling out.
It is. Did I mention I bought a very expensive building this week? And I'm very excited.
What are you
about
nerding out about?
Too late, kids. Shut it. Your dad cannot save you.
You nerding out about now?
Not just butt crack.
I saw. Well, I sure hope not. I saw your post about it.
Yeah, so cool. All right, now we're back on track. But I'm also learning about getting my hands on gear. We talked about it a little bit before the show started. I've got this nice camera now that makes me very happy. And I didn't go buy it. I had it in my repertoire, in my tool bag, if you will. I've got all kinds of different AV gear for different projects. And for some reason, I just let it sit in the case. I mean, when you use it for a project, you put it away safe somewhere. And I just never thought, put it in the studio. Once the studio got built, put it in the studio. So this is the second run out that I'm using it, and I'm very happy with it. It's very, very nice. It makes me feel very good. But that balances what I posted last night. So I went and did a gig at Park Tavern. and I took my big. I bought a screen for Dragon Con itself, like out of my pocket. I just went and bought for the Dragon Con party one of these collapsible 100-foot screens, right? Whatever it is. It's just because it's big. It's not 100 feet, but whatever it is, the big screen. And I have this little, I think I paid maybe $70 with taxes projector off Amazon for my backyard because I wanted to see what it would be like before I invested in a projector, which I know better, right? I have very high taste when it comes to AV, and I'm very specific about things because I used to work that field. So last night I went out there and I took my little projector, and there just wasn't enough room and I couldn't get it set. But you know what I did is, because that's not a word, I can be okay with a projector. It wasn't the full screen, it wasn't the brightest it could be. I left my laptop with the slides at home 30 miles away. And I had spent the day before making these amazing slides and ready to go on the laptop, and just not used to taking my backpack with me to go to Park Tavern, and just didn't take it, and didn't have an adapter. They had a Mac there because I made them on Canva so I could go and re-download them. They didn't have an adapter for the Mac. I had to come off of my phone, and I fortunately with the projector, because we use it to watch movies and TV out in the backyard, but we don't leave it there. So I break it down, have a little bag for it. I have a little Roku device. Fortunately, now I think it'll work better with a Mac, but that Roku device didn't support AirPlay, Apple AirPlay, for whatever reason. And so because I tried on the little Mac first that they let me borrow. Off of my phone, there's a thing on Samsung called Smart View. It ain't great. It is nowhere, I'll be honest, it is nowhere near Apple AirPlay at all. But it worked. I was able to download the slides as photos and then do the Smart View, and it'd come up, and it will, with whatever the screen would fill of the projector, it automatically made it full screen. It looked decent enough. It just wasn't bright enough. I'm just not happy with it, but it worked. But it kept saying, oh, you have a rough connection. Didn't matter what internet I got onto, didn't matter. I am 10 feet away from the Roku device, and I kept having to reset the connection, but I made it work. But I'm happy that I think you guys have heard me talk about Aperture Rent. That's another sponsor I would love for this show, because we've gone to them for Dragon Con until this year, pretty much every year that I've been running Dragon Con, because you can rent high-end gear like cameras and switchers and different things from them for very reasonable prices. And because I just knew I'm doing a big gig, it's going to be almost 2,000 people are going to be at this thing on Saturday. So I can't bring my backyard projector. Right. $61. Actually, just over 70, I think, after taxes, or just under 70, to get a BenQ 3800 lumen professional grade projector for 7 days with insurance. And I did it for 7 days because I didn't want to have to rush and get it back, because I'm doing the gig all day Saturday. And then Sunday, basically, I'm leaving to go to a conference and come back Wednesday. So I wanted time to return it. But yeah, $61. So I'm very excited to be able to find my camera and use it, and then to be able to get this projector, which, by the way, is only $400 brand new at Best Buy. I've already priced it out. So if I like it, then I can save my quarters, my allowance. I can save my allowance. I don't get an allowance. But I can save my dimes and buy it for the backyard. So it's always fun, right, to be able to test things out like that. But that's what I'm nerding out about. What are you guys nerding out about?
So for me, this past week was the finale of the Wheel of Time on Amazon Prime, the Prime Video. This second season was better than the first. Up until, so for the casual viewer that hasn't read the book, I think that they will appreciate this season. I'll preface it that way. My issues with it stem from my having read the book, and in ways that they drastically changed from the source material. For instance, one of the big bads, without too much big spoilers, one of the big bads does something to one of the main characters
they did something
that has a prolonged effect on that character, that it causes issues for the rest of the season or rest of the series. Instead of having one of the big bads do it, like it happened in the book, one of his best friends does it to him. At least I assume that that's what this is going to be, because that's what it sure looked like, where it's going to cause him issues for the rest of the series. And I was like, no. I don't like, for some reason, they seem hellbent on making all of the main characters have some serious trauma and like huge issues. Like, they already have plenty of issues in the books. You don't need to throw more issues in their face. And so it's just, I don't know. They just, I guess they like to traumatize their characters even more than the books traumatize them.
Where do you think the story's going to go, changing it from the big bad to the best friend?
So obviously it's going to strain their relationship. But it's just, I don't know. There's just so many things that they change that, but I do think they're trying to course correct on some aspects in this season than they did in the first season. But yeah, we'll see. I'm along for the ride now at this point, just to see if they can pull it off. But yeah, it's not the worst adaptation I've seen, but it is far from the best.
All right. I've seen commercials for it, and honestly, some of the commercials are decent. Some of them like don't even explain at all what you're looking at or why it's important.
Well, and I would love to hear from someone who has never read the books how confused they are, because I feel like people who haven't read the books are going to end up being super confused. Or maybe it's because I know what it's hinting at, that I'm like, oh, they're leaving out so much, but maybe casual, like other people aren't as confused.
All right, Harry Potter lover, calm down. All right, what about you, Pappy? Have you been watching it?
I haven't, but it's on my list. And I've not read the books, because frankly, tackling a series like that is pretty daunting right now with the amount of time.
The books are huge.
Yeah. So I should go and watch it and let you know whether or not it works, at least from a casual standpoint, because I just don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of on my list. I mean, it looked interesting, but it's one of the shows that if I don't get my wife hooked or a kid, I'm not going to make the time for it right now. But I saw a commercial, some lady in a golden mask out in the courtyard. It's obviously some kind of big royal thing, and she's obviously in trouble, and they chop her nails off with a sword. And that was the commercial. And I was like, okay, maybe for the super geeks, the super fans rather of this, that might be like, oh, I gotta watch that. But for people like me who've never heard of it, it's like, okay, I get the atmosphere and the setting, but it just doesn't. That's not a commercial that's going to get me to watch.
See, they didn't even really mention the significance of that event, whereas in the book, they elaborate that the growing in their culture, the growing of the nails is kind of a pride and status thing.
Kind of inferred.
Yeah, it is inferred a little bit, but yeah.
But
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, and this series has so many moving pieces that I honestly think it's probably confusing for people that are like, okay, there's this group and this group and this group and this group. There's like 6 different groups, all with different agendas that are going on at the same time. And so, yeah.
You just reminded me that Shadow and Bones getting a season 2.
Oh, it already got a season 2. It already got a season.
Makes less. I know, but I mean, it's like hitting Netflix.
It hit Netflix months ago.
Don't make me turn this show around and go all the way back to Washington State, son. You better just sit back and relax. Nothing makes less sense in The Witcher season 2, says Iron Will, which is not true, sir. That is not true at all.
My wife loved the first season of Shadow and Bones, so she's read all 7 of the different books and the side books, and she still likes the show quite a bit. Okay, so there's that.
I forget she listens, so let me qualify why I give a very sarcastic answer at that, because Joe knew what I meant. It occurred to him. It's like, you don't go read the books on a show you're watching because it's going to do what it did. Joe, you're pissed off about Wheel of Time. You know, that's why I say it's dumb. Dave Light Media has joined over on Instagram. Hey, Dave.
Hey, Dave.
All right.
Dave's not here.
Dream Eater. VO by Kurt.
Yeah.
What is your nerds thing?
So this is gonna be a surprise to no one, but I am nerding out about the fact that we finally have some new MCU content.
Yeah.
Loki season 1 just started. Season 2 just started, and episode 2 is tonight, which I'm watching as we speak. No, I'm just kidding.
No spoilers, man. No spoilers. Come on.
And then November 10th, Marvel's hits. So
Man.
that'll be interesting to see. Well, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
know.
excited.
Now, the upside to the Marvels, honestly, is Kamala Khan. Like she's going to be the best part of that. I thought Ms. Marvel as a TV show was awesome, and I'm hopeful for Monica Rambeau.
Yeah,
I'm
so
hopeful.
I like we haven't gotten a whole lot of Monica Rambeau,
Right.
but I like what I've seen so far.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, she definitely has potential. And as far as which of the characters I'm most excited about from the Marvels, it's definitely Monica Rambeau.
Yeah, I understand that.
What's her superhero name? Spectrum?
Photon.
Photon?
I mean,
Okay.
she's been known as Spectrum, Captain Marvel, Photon. So I think they're going with Photon because they gave her that call sign.
Okay.
So they're probably going to go with Photon, and then so there's no confusion. There's already going to be confusion: Miss Marvel versus Captain Marvel.
If you watched Miss Marvel, I don't think there will be.
No, I'm talking about mainly casuals. You know,
Okay,
just
got
like
it.
why is she called Captain and this one's called Ms. It's like, okay, just watch the show.
Well, because she's not old enough to be a captain, sir.
Right,
She's obviously a teenager, dummy.
but really,
Because she's just a fangirl.
Kamala Khan as a character, like they captured the teenager aspect of things really well with her character, and throwing her into this whole superhero thing and making her a mutant was very, very interesting. So
Dave over on Instagram says, I forgot I need to watch episode 2 tonight. I have to watch it tomorrow. And check out, let me tell you, Flickr Effect. They've gone back to putting out podcasts, and I'm digging it. I'm listening, and that's Dave and Michelle's show, along with their friend who doesn't come to Dragon Con, so I don't bother to learn their name. And Iron Will's referring to the season 2 of The Witcher, says they Instagram filtered series so bad with all that makeup, like she didn't just come out of a swamp. I don't remember that part, to be honest, but I think in general, I mean, The Witcher series is slightly confusing, and that whole first season is, they don't tell you it's a bunch of time jumps.
So
like,
I couldn't follow, like
literally,
I wasn't familiar. I didn't play the game, and I wasn't familiar with the books.
Barely played it.
And so when I started trying to watch season 1, because I went, this sounds like it's gonna be right up my alley. I got 2-3 episodes in. I went, I have no idea what's happening right now, so I'm tapping out, and I'll attack it.
Right.
I'll attack it again at some other point, and I just haven't gotten back to it.
Well, I kind of wonder if it's even worth it based on the fact that, well, he's leaving because of, it's kind of cliche, but basically because of creative differences, because they're not being faithful to the
right. That was the interesting part, right?
Because they made the best friend hurt Siri, and that's not what happened in the book. It's the big bad that did it.
Okay.
Yeah, nice callback, Charles.
Thank you. Because Joe was just on his high horse about how they change things in a book. He's like, oh, creative differences. No, he's mad because they're going over the source material, apparently.
Can I pull a tangent?
Always.
Can you not?
Well, no, that's true. I can't. I
Yeah.
can't not. So, Joe, have you seen the live action One Piece?
I have not, but I haven't watched.
I've
only watched like a dozen episodes of One Piece in general. So
I've not watched any of the anime or read any of the manga.
Same.
And I find that show just crazy, wacky fun.
Okay.
It's nutty. Like you're watching it going, what is going, like, why are we dealing with King of the Pirates stuff going on? What's going on? And just, it's fun. And the guy they've got as the main character is just goofy, and he's great.
So let me tell you something about him. There was a show. It was made in the UK or somewhere. There's there. I think it was made in the UK. It was called the Misfits, and it's essentially about people getting some powers and how it just is so different.
Good. So
And
good.
the big bad, well, what you think is the big bad, that dude is so quirky. The werewolf is the lead of One Piece. So the kid who played the werewolf in the Misfits, that's One Piece. That's the lead of One Piece.
Really?
Is it? Yeah, it's starting to click in your brain a little bit, isn't it?
I got to go back and watch it again now.
Go what? Just IMDb it real quick.
Yeah, no, that's
So-
okay because I want to go back and watch Misfits. Any excuse because it's so good. And look, we got introduced to Ramsey Bolton as
No, I mistook. Not the Misfits. I'm sorry. That was a great show. Not the Misfits.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Teen
Oh
Wolf.
man, I'm gonna have to look. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look it up. But it's on Netflix. I'll look it up in just a second. While we go on to the next thing. But it's a more modern thing. But there was a werewolf. There was siren. Basically, it's like modern take on
The
classic
Imperfects.
monsters. Imperfects. Thank you, Joseph_Ard. It's the Imperfects. Sorry. And dude,
Not
okay,
seen.
go watch that. You're loving, and the big bad there is so quirky. I just saw him on TikTok. Like there's a clip of the show of him doing his thing. He's just so quirky and good. Yeah. Thank
Oh
you.
yeah,
Joe, for
that is
looking
the same
up.
guy.
But yeah, that's sorry, I did misstate. Man, I thought we had a connection. We do have a scale now, though, Kurt. We can say on a scale from Andor to The Witcher, because now we know where our opposite points are. Because you loved Andor, and I was like, I just can't get it. It's not it. And The Witcher, I loved The Witcher, and you're like, yeah, no, it's just all over the place. So now we have our Parabellum scale. So
Yep.
speaking of Parabellum, I did watch the 3-episode series of The Continental on Max.
How was it?
It's not what I thought it was going to be, but we enjoyed it.
Okay.
Is that the new one with Mel Gibson?
Yes. And I guess I was hoping, maybe not thinking, maybe I was hoping it'd be more of a Monster of the Week kind of thing, where this assassin checks in and you follow them and what they're doing, and they come back. It's not as is the tale of how Winston comes into the picture. Winston being the mentor and guide of the hotel for Keanu Reeves's character, John Wick.
Oh, is it? It's connected to John Wick. I didn't even know that.
That's
the
point.
Continental is the hotel in John Wick, and this is set 30 years before, I think.
I've never seen John Wick.
I'm not shocked at all, right?
It's so good. It's so good.
But it's
It's
not going to be
just-
Joe's thing. He likes to
No,
pretend
I
he
get
doesn't
that.
like
I
it
get
when
that.
it's violent.
But it is kind of mindless fun.
It very much so. Very much so.
Let Daddy decide.
Thank you, Kurt.
Yes.
All right, I know we're going long here, but I don't care. It's our show. We do what we want. Let Daddy decide. This is something I've debated with people. Is it okay to keep up with your ex-girlfriends, boyfriends, whatever, or if that's not a thing that you would ever think of or do or had, high school friends, basically something from your past, something you've grown out of? Is it okay to keep up with your high school friends or your exes?
No, it's not. That's our show for tonight. Have a good one, everybody.
Follow these nerdy dads on social media. Charles at Rock God of Podcasting. Joe at Joseph_Ard. Check out the website wiseandnerdy.com. And as always, they may not be your father, but they'll always be your daddy.
And make sure to follow VO by Kurt on all the social medias.
Oh, I can't breathe.
Them's the rules. If you invoke that.
Oh, he froze.
He did freeze.
Sweet. He's like an 80s sitcom. I literally didn't know he was going to commit to the bit
he always commits to the bits.
They are.